Welcome back to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with San Diego businesses and the key people that are working hard to make a difference in our community. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. Okay, we're back. We're live, and we have our first guest today, Mr. Mark Peterson from VerbatimTPV. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Barry. Nice to be here.
Great. So VerbatimTPV, tell us about that. What's the TPV?
The TPV stands for third-party verification, and not very many people understand this, but they probably experienced it. Let me take you through a little scenario. Let's say that you're a telemarketer, and you just sold me a service. You're a little concerned that maybe at some point down the road, after your customer gets the bill, that they're going to deny having ever made the deal. And they call you and they say, Barry, I never talked to you. I never agreed to this service. And you say, well, wait a second, Mr. Customer. Let me play back for you this recording where you agreed to the terms and conditions of this service. That's where we come in. You would be able to go to your website, pull up this recording, play it back for the customer. The customer really has no defense at that point.
Mm-hmm. Are there any types of businesses that are more prevalent to use this type of service?
Certainly some industries require it, like the telecommunications industry. Back when they deregulated long distance service from local service, there was a lot of what they called cramming and slamming. You may get your telephone bill back then, and all of a sudden there was a charge there from MCI, and you say to yourself, I never signed up with MCI. What's this all about? So MCI didn't have any proof that you had actually changed. So the FCC decided from that point forward, back in the late 70s, it was required that every change of long distance carrier or every change of local carrier had to be accompanied by a third-party verification. So that was really probably the biggest impetus for the growth of this industry.
Huh. Interesting. And you've been doing this for how many years?
19 years.
19 years. It's and speaking of telecommunications, there's a lot of things that have changed over the last 19 years. So what makes you different than your competitors?
Probably the biggest difference is the fact that we're completely automated. A lot of the other competitors have live agents conducting these verifications, and that in and of itself is a problem. Because according to the rules, which are fairly specific, the agent is not allowed to contribute anything to the call. They can't answer questions about the product or services, for example, and they have to stay to the script. That's hard for a human being to do hour after hour after hour.
Especially when the client on the other side is trying to get all kinds of things answered by somebody that doesn't know anything about it.
Exactly right. Yeah. So they're actually looking for an advocate. The TPV agent isn't allowed to be that advocate. So what makes automated third-party verification right is that it's going to be exactly the same every single time. You know exactly how long it's going to take. It's going to be recorded. The script is going to be read exactly right. The responses are going to be recorded.
Mm-hmm. Great. So it would seem to me that why wouldn't everybody use an automated third-party verification system?
Well, actually, that's a very good question. I wake up every morning asking myself. For my basic verification, I only charge 45 cents. It's very cheap insurance. If somebody was in a kind of a business where they were closing deals over the telephone, say like an attorney or whatever, it's probably a good idea to have a third-party verification just to cement the deal. This service goes beyond telecommunications. There are other industries like energy resale, credit, what do they call it? Credit repair.
Credit repair, credit cards, I assume.
Yeah, exactly. All kinds of businesses use this, not just those that are required to use it.
I almost wish you think about your personal relationships, and you almost wish you kind of had this. Oh, no. You told me 6 months ago I could get a new car, right?
Yeah,
and the husband's like,
right.
I never said you could buy a new car.
Exactly. And we keep these verifications forever. So if after 4 years, the customer, after paying the bill for 4 years, says, hey, I've never heard of you guys, that we can provide that verification.
And that's fabulous. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-hosts, Andrea Kay and Al Arias, and our guest today is Mark Peterson from VerbatimTPV. So, Mark, before the show, you were telling us about one of the new ventures that you're getting ready to launch.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, thanks for mentioning that. As it turns out, my brother is in the transportation industry, and he's been getting a lot of feedback from some customers, or from his drivers, that their customers are elderly. They're alone. Their kids and family have grown and moved away, and so they find themselves alone, and they're just a little unsure of themselves and want a little more contact than talking to their say children once a week. So what we've done is we've started a service where we can call out to this customer, this elderly person, for example, and just basically ask them, "Are you okay? If so, press 1. If you'd like to talk to your child, press 2." So we can do this every day for them. Now, if they don't press 1, or if they answer the phone and don't respond, then the system would automatically call the designated person and let them know what the response was or wasn't, and so that they can make an effort to reach out to the customer to their parents, say, and find out if they're okay or not.
I think that's a great service to help the elderly or the families of the elderly. Do you think there's going to be any kind of resistance from the elderly to get automated messages coming in?
Well, we've trialed this on a couple of people. My father and my uncle. My father loves it. My uncle hated it. So it can be a problem. My uncle viewed it as just being a nuisance because in his mind, of course he's okay. There will never be anything that would ever happen to him. This is a waste of his time. But we all know that if you were to call your parent and they weren't to answer, that alarm bells would go off. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just provide an extra level of security for them. And of course, if they were ever to sign up for it, they could stop the service at any time. But it's kind of getting over the feeling that I'm okay, nothing would ever happen. I don't need anybody calling after me.
Yeah. Is there any, what if somebody just can't get to the phone? Does it try again, or does it just automatically send a report back?
It automatically goes back because we don't know if they're in the shower or if they've fallen in the shower. So if they don't answer the call, then it's an automatic call out to their designated
So you
person.
can do an automatic programming every day at 10:15 in the morning, whatever the time is, and you can program that in, and then the elderly will get called every day at the same time.
Exactly right, or several times a day.
Right.
That's such a great idea to be able to check on your loved ones, from a remote location. It doesn't even have to be elderly.
No.
It could be like you're a parent, you've got a 13-year-old that's home after school, and you want to check on them because they've, latchkey kids are going to be home for 2 hours.
Exactly right. I see that as being a huge part. And the other thing is, latchkey kids, and maybe right now you have them calling. I would say, call me when you get home. Okay, so they call you when they get home. Were they really calling from home?
Oh, yeah.
We can capture that information. We know from what telephone they are calling, and we can add that to the report as well. So there's a lot more. It's not just elderly. It's checking up on young people. It's following up from people who are maybe discharged from a rehab center.
Yeah.
So
many uses.
Applications. And every script can be different for every client. It could, so there's a separate greeting to be handled in various different ways.
So for the individual and the elderly, you provide a safety-based program, and for the small business owner that you're doing third-party verification, looks like you can do a lot of great cost control for that company, cut their costs down quite a bit.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's a lot of my competitors charge based on, say, the time of the TPV, and so a TPV can last, if you're just a live agent, a long time. Ours, of course, is different, so it controls costs quite a bit.
So when are you going to launch this? You said this is a new venture?
Actually, we're just in the beta testing phase right now, so it'll probably be in the next 30 days or so we'll be offering it.
Oh, and rollout is going to be just in
nationwide.
Nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
And you're nationwide on the third-party verification
exactly.
as well.
Yeah, we have customers all over the country.
That's great.
Your database must be just
It's
really
huge.
difficult to try to manage.
It is.
Wow.
It is. And we have 2 data centers. We have one center here in San Diego. We have another one out in Las Vegas because they're on completely 2 different grids, 2 different geographies.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I can make a tax-deductible trip to Las Vegas once a year to check up
Score,
on
bingo.
So and having these 2 data centers, of course, they have to, contain a lot of data. There has to be a lot of redundancy, a lot of different telephone systems going in and out of there to provide that 7x24.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we're starting to run short on time for the interview, so why don't we let our listeners know, how do they find out more information about you and your company?
The best way to get a hold of us is via our website. And on there, you can see everything that we offer with regards to the third-party verification business. And just click the contact link and send us an email. And we'll be happy to respond, answer any of your questions. If you're interested in this senior assurance program I was just talking about, which does not have a name yet, but if you're at all interested in it, please go to the VerbatimTPV website and let me know that as well. And I can answer any question you have about that.
So that's
Wonderful.
at www.verbatim, verbatimTPV.com, correct?
Correct.
Okay, verbatimTPV.com. I think this is a great service.
I know, I love it.
Yeah. So
thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
that's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you being here. So you are listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-hosts, Andrea Kay and Al Arias, and we're coming up on our second segment. After the break, we'll have Janet Sobel, attorney at law with a unique law practice.
That's right.
So we'll look forward to talking right after the break.